Hello, welcome back to Mr. Bob's Builds. In today's episode, the Faun has a pedestal built. Well, she's got to sit on something. You'll be pleased to know that after the last couple of epics, this is a mercifully short video. Let us begin. Like many miniature busts, it is left to the modeller to decide how best to display the figure. In the case of the Faun, while no base is applied, there's a very handy pilot hole drilled at the bottom of her torso. And this has been drilled out to accept a 1.6mm brass rod. And here you see that rod, which has been masked up, being used to mount the figure into the modelling vise. When she's completed, that masking will be removed and the rod will be used to mount the figure to the pedestal that I'm making. There is a current trend for mounting figures on a stand which is almost a diorama, which helps to put the figure in its context and helps to tell a story. For the Faun, however, I want her to be the only focus of attention. But nevertheless, she has to stand on something that is interesting in its own right. Having looked at commercially available products, none of which took my fancy, I decided to construct my own. Just before Christmas, a neighbour who is a crafts teacher gave me a bag of kindling for my wood burner. And in that bag were some very useful bits of batten and veneer that looked like teak veneer. So this has swiftly gone into my modelling box. And here you see 3 pieces of batten clamped together to form a 1-inch square pedestal, which is approximately 2.5 to 3 inches tall. I trimmed off the corner of one of the pillars and then glued the veneer on each side, leaving that trimmed corner free. The veneer was left proud on the top too, although you can't really see that in the picture. I then used sculptor mould, which is a papier-mâché type material, similar I believe to cellu clay, and used this to form a mud-like texture on the top of the base and down the side that I have left free. I also mixed in some dried roots from this year's tomato plants to simulate organic growth. I'm pleased with the outcome, but I have to admit that since taking these photographs I have broken off most of those lovely looking roots. I might have to stick a few more in. Wanting to perk it up a bit more, I then got the green stuff out and I made some mushrooms. And here they are painted. I have to report that they're the best mushrooms I've ever made. Or should that be the only mushrooms I've ever made? Whatever, they make me smile. Well, I put those onto the top of the pedestal and added a few leaves. And I thought that was just about it and done, but the thing was a tiny bit unstable. So looking through my box of bits, I found a resin base, which I again drilled for a bit of 1.6 brass rod, drilled a corresponding hole on the bottom of the base so that it could stand firm and not fall over. Here the base has had a couple of coats of a reddy brown paint mixture. That'll be darkened in the next couple of steps. Here the pedestal has been added to the base and the base darkened a tiny bit. There's a gap around the bottom of the pedestal which will need filling. You'll see that in the next photo. And here's the stand just about ready for the figure. The gap around the bottom of the pedestal has been filled and darkened a bit to match it with the base. I'll see if that needs adjusting anymore when I put the figure on it. I'll also see at that stage whether we need a few more leaves. Well, that's it. Short and sweet. A bit like me. Except that I'm about 5'11.5 and not that sweet. Next up, in a week or less, it's the final review. Until then, my friends, goodbye for now. Thank you for watching. Come back soon.